on top of their helmets, just little lights.
Yeah.
They what the Rangers call is droning. You just drone out. You just simply you're just putting one foot in front of the other. You have no idea where you are, what's going on. You're just simply functioning at the lowest base level. So he said they're marching through the Everglades at night, which I find like not really good. That's not a good thing, right? And there's this, you can see a couple lights. They had to go get these guys because they're just walking off through the Everglades. They have no idea where they're at. They're stumbling from one thing to another. And it's like, no, grab them, Kids, you got pythons out here. You got like lions or something. I don't know. Got all kinds of critters out here in the Everglades. It's not a good alligators. Don't want to be walking off without the group. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Your field knife can only do so much.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Cannot perform surgery. You don't want to end up like Captain Hook. Remember the crocodile with the clock in his stomach. Like, wait a second, what's that ticking sound?
Yeah, you got those alligators or crocs out there, and it's like those are prehistoric tanks. I mean, this thing's coming. Whoa. Oh, that man. Anyhow, all right.
Yeah.
So getting back to business at hand here. I know I went down a rabbit hole. Sorry about that, but
it's the opening salvo. It's supposed to.
It is. This is how we solve the world's problems. There you go.
There it is.
That's it. It's a little early, but we, the fun part is you can reload that thing real fast.
No rules.
I was about to say, is there a rule for is there too much opening salvo cannons?
Not really. There you go. I mean, just
there it is. See, exactly. Look how easy it just flows. It just flows. That's all it is. Yep, there it is once again.
Exactly so. I love that.
Now, real quick, a message from the loaders of the cannon.
Okay.
They just wanted to make sure to tell you guys this.
Now go away or I shall taunt you a second time.
You know what? The ninjas are getting a little rowdy.
They are. They're
I love Monty Python was so good. That was really good. Oh
my God.
Yeah,
we devolved into a British accent.
Oh man.
During the break
British
yesterday.
Accent,
that was unbelievable.
Comedy hour. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I mean, it was good stuff. Once again,
I think Max, you need to go to England for what do they call one of those game watches? You get together and you watch the game.
Oh yeah, do
a
British watch party.
Watch party. You could go. You would be a big hit there with that British accent. You and Wes, But you guys got to work
or
the game.
Or would we though? I don't know. They might look at it as insulting.
Yeah, exactly. Even though all those different British artists that come over and do American accents, nobody says anything about that.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true. That's because
right.
That's the way it rolls. Okay, finishing up with the referees. When you look at this, one of the important things that you got to understand is just the mere presence of those zebras, of the referees, makes you pay attention to the details. Details like, how about the offensive tackles having issues lining up, in the proper way, not getting back too far, making sure that you don't get your hands too wide. I automatically remember when there would be a referee showing up at a practice, I would automatically remind myself, keep your hands inside, which it's not the same as today. It's quite a bit different. But certainly, within the framework of the body was always, the functional thing. So just the mere presence of them, it starts to make players really pay attention to the details, which I think is huge for this coming week because you don't want to have any of that happening. The LA Chargers are just, they are a good team, would you not say, Max?
Oh, yeah. No, they're a good physical team, and they're a team that's
physical.
They're physical at the point. But, I would say this, Wolf.
Yep.
They're a team that wants to do the same things that the Steelers want to do. And I think that's where it's like looking in a mirror. That's what I said. That's is going
exactly
to be a
what I was thinking
test.
about this morning. Yeah. Oh, you plagiarized my mind.
Yeah. That what I did, good sir?
Go with your bad self, buddy. Tell me.
Yeah. And because this is a team that wants to control and ball possess the ball, right? They want to take up time on the offensive side, and they want to keep their defense fresh. and allow them to go and hunt, which they've done a good job of the first 2 weeks. Granted, I would say the opponent, the Carolina Panthers, not a lot of resistance there.
Right.
That squad, you saw what the Saints did to them the week before, and, hanging 47 on them, and now the Chargers put 23 on them. I mean, this is a team that's given up a boatload of points, and, for the Chargers, I still don't really know who they are offensively as I did. I know they have a tremendous beef-eating offensive line, between Joe Alt, and then you got the Rashawn Slater, and you got Zion Johnson. You've got all this first round draft equity in the offensive line, and you still have Justin Herbert, but you don't really have the receivers. Running back is still a question. Like, it's kind of more of a committee, but
J.K. Dobbins, Gadzooks, looked great.
He had a great week one. And week two, I always put an asterisk when it's the Carolina Panthers just because they're so bad.
I know. I was watching them this morning, and it was just kind of like, does anybody want to tackle him? Huh?
Like it's JV. It looks JV. I hate to say that, but Mike Tomlin, when he hits, he hits. He never misses. Yes, junior varsity effort out there.
Yeah.
And Dave Canales has a big, tall task in front of him to really whip that group into shape. But as I look at it, they run a lot of man, a lot of zone, a lot of gap.
Yep.
And they run the play action off of it.
Man.
Yeah, wide. Is it wide toss zone? Type stuff.
They push out. That wideness thing, man. Woo, they're wide. Man,
yeah.
They try to run to the. But anyhow, you know what? I really like the guy you highlighted, Zion Johnson, that left guard. I know Joe Alt has been a guy that everybody's talking about. I like Zion Johnson. What do you remember? Where's he from draft wise?
Well, he's from Boston College.
Okay, man,
yeah, he's a Boston College kid, and he, he's one that you look at him and you're just like, yep, that's a guard. That's a guard. You want that guard right there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He brings the pain.
He comes off the ball in old school flat back, roll over the front foot, put your forehead right in the chin of the man over you, and then he just drives. He just pushes the car. I was really impressed with him just watching. Now I know it's the Carolina Panthers, and again, I'm not so sure that you got some people that are really wanting to play ball there because it didn't look like there was a whole lot of angst in what they were doing. But the fact of the matter is the guy looks really good, and fundamentally he's got some really good skill sets there.
Yeah, no, he's one of those guys. He was very well put together. He was one of the top guards drafted a few years ago, and you could see why. Like you said, good base, tight hands, explosive off the ball, and that's where the challenge is going to be. I think, can he be edged? Yeah. But he hasn't been tested like he's going to get tested on Sunday.
I know. I was looking at him going, no, I think Captain Cam's ready for you, bud.
Long arm stab initiated right there on him. Because even his arms aren't particularly long. Like, they're a good length. They're not particularly long. And Cam has long arms.
Yeah.
And once you skinny the frame of the body with that long arm stab, he might need some help. And Joe Alt has not been tested like he is going to be tested
right.
Against TJ. And Rashawn Slater is good, but he's a shorter tackle. That's physical. He's built like a guard. That was kind of his knock coming out of Northwestern. Mm-hmm. Was, hey, is he a tackle? Is he a guard? And then very quickly, the footwork is there. But Alex Highsmith is one that's going to test that footwork. And I think that's kind of when I start looking at it, like, these are the things that just resonate with me when you're looking at these guys. Like, okay, yeah, these boys are good, but they haven't been tested, and that's what I want to see. I want to see the testing going on. I need to see how do you do in a foxhole. You know what I'm saying? I want to see how you're going to do in a foxhole, because I don't know if you have it just yet. I think you're getting there, but I think the challenge that's going to be in front of them is one that's going to be pretty stout and pretty great when the Steelers decide, hey, we're going to test your insight, we're going to test your pass rush, and I think that's the biggest task, is going to be getting them into a pass rush situation, and that means the offense is going to have to score points, and that's where the rubber will meet the road, so to speak, because if you let them play their game, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a really long day.
All right. You know what? That's a good take this early in the morning, and it's Wolf Starks and the Ninjas bringing the pain. Yeah, load the cannon again. Fire that bad boy again. Yeah, all right. We'll be back with more right here in the locker room, and you're listening to Steelers Audio Network.
Your home for the Steelers. This is the Pittsburgh Steelers Audio Network.
With nearly 900 physicians and 7,300 employees, we are the third largest health system in Western Pennsylvania. We've earned top honors for the quality of our care, including recognition from U.S. News and World Report and health grades. We're Independence Health System, comprising Butler, Clarion, Frick, Latrobe, and Westmoreland hospitals. And we're changing the landscape of healthcare in our region by providing low-cost, high-quality care through superb clinical expertise and the latest technology. Independence Health System. Expert care here.
When you're looking to play, Bet Rivers will make your day.
Take a chance, you'll see.
You like slots, we've got lots. Blackjack, roulette, take your shots.
It's where you want to be. Bet Rivers Online Casino is your home for chance. With hundreds of slots, live table games, and more. Bet Rivers Online Casino. Check out the app.
Take a chance.
Must be 21 plus and physically present in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. Void where prohibited. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Wolf here for Caliente Pizza and Draft House's new Pro Football Special. A delicious 2-topping tavern-style pizza for just $22. Perfect for game days with a thin, crispy crust and top-notch ingredients. Try Caliente's new Pro Football Special Tavern Pie today. Caliente, the pizza of champions.
This is In the Locker Room, presented by Ford and brought to you by Acrisure, the official insurance and cybersecurity partner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. By BetMGM, Huntington Bank, PNC, Pepsi, and by FedEx, where now meets next. Now here's Craig Wolfley and Max Starks.
All right, we are back inside the locker room. And, you know, as we kind of talk about this, Wolf, you know, I want to continue the conversation.
Which one? we ran down so many rabbit holes. There we go.
There it is. There it is. You know, fire it one more time, Wes, just for good measure. That broke the bow. That broke the bow there. There it is. I could feel the mast coming crashing to the deck. Swab the decks with it. But no, I just kind of, you know, looking at the opponent, right? I mean, this Chargers team under Jim Harbaugh wants to establish an identity that Arthur Smith wanted to bring about.
Right.
And I'm really excited. Not only because it's the home opener this weekend, not only because we're 2-0 and we've conquered the road thus far, but when you're talking about Steeler Nation, being at home, being in the friendly confines of home, just brings a little something extra, right? It brings a little extra zest, a little extra chutzpah, a little extra je ne sais quoi. You can't beat it. And to be at home, to sleep in your own bed this week and not have to get on an airplane, you know, you might have to drive downtown, you know, to stay in a team hotel. But being at home 1 o'clock on a Sunday in Pittsburgh at Acrisure, it's just something feels right about it, Wolf. And the fact that we had to be road warriors, you know, before that, it's something that you can't quantify. It's an unknown advantage. I mean, it's known because, like, you know, they call it home field advantage, but it's unquantifiable in a lot of respects because you can't put your finger on why the energy and passion of a stadium incites the best out of people, right?
Right. But think about. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Here's the point. Home field advantage, especially when you've been on the road. Think that your offense has been tempered by the fact that they've probably been on silent count for a good portion of that trip, okay? The 2 trips, right? Also, your defensive guys, think about it. T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith. Now we got the Nick Herbig, right? You got a huge Acrisure Stadium crowd ready to scream their lungs out because you know that Pittsburghers can continue the loudness throughout the game because we're full of, we got pepperoni and we got, forget the vegan, stuff. We got all the meat eaters here. They can go all day screaming their lungs out, right? Yeah. So you know that Alex Highsmith and you know that TJ Watt, Obi-Watt Kenobi for crying out loud, and the Herbig, right? They can use that to their advantage and get a jump on the offensive line. I love that. All right, because you can really get after these guys, such as what they've not seen yet.
Yeah, and it's such it's such a relieving feeling when you're at home.
Yes, you're warm. It's comfortable. Yeah,
mm-hmm. It gives you the warm and fuzzies.
Yes.
And I'm so excited because for what this team has done and how they've done it thus far. It's a test of only getting better. I know people are, well, they don't score enough points, or they're not putting. I'm like, they're putting up enough points to win. I know that much, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's you want all of the glory within this victory, but at the same time, you realize it's a lot of hard work to get to manufacture points, and a lot of teams around this league. I mean, except for the Saints. You go through your different spells. These teams that you're expecting, they're going to be so good this year, and they're just going to go through everybody, and they're going to score 40 points a game. They're going to get there because we're on the cusp. Like I said, the reason why we have these referees out here all week is to make sure we lock in and you do the little things, and from that point, you hopefully guys will get better. Right? You'll understand. How are they looking at a hold? When you're pancaking a guy, taking him to the ground, what's a hold, what's not a hold, even though the guy's already losing his footing? When you are outside the framework of the body, how is that being viewed? You must take proper footwork. And then, of course, like you said, lining up on the line of scrimmage. I never thought that you would have to do this type of thing, but, they've gotten so far away from that rule. I was listening to Dean Blandino yesterday, Wolf.
Right.
And he was on SXM, and he was talking about, well, why, people are always asking, why are they calling, the not enough men on the line of scrimmage rule against these tackles? I said, because it's simple. First of all, it's the opposite side judge, not the play side judge, which if you're wondering who the play side judge is and who the opposite side judge is, it's a guy with the chain crew. Not the sticks guy, but the one that's with the actual literal chain connected. That's the front side judge. Backside side judge, opposite side judge on the other side of the line of scrimmage. He's looking for everybody lined up on the line, everybody in symmetry. So when he sees a helmet off from where the guard is, that's his cue to throw the flag. And more often than not, you can only lean so far forward while putting your body backwards, Wolf.
Oh, yeah.
Without getting into like a straight sprinter stance, right? That's where the struggle comes. And also, a pre-kick does not help you. A pre-kick is going to make you take a false step because you're pre-kicking your leg, right?
Okay, you got to explain to me what the pre-kick is because I don't think I had that
problem.
So a
pre-kick, well, no, because you were a guard. Guards don't have this problem.
But I did spend time at tackle. I did play a year at tackle, unfortunately.
You did, unfortunately. So when you take your normal pass set stance, Wolf.
Right, correct.
Think about your first kick is with your outside leg, correct?
Correct.
So you're pre-kicking, meaning you're taking that first step and extending it back so that you think that you're getting a mental edge on the guy on the outside of you, right? Guy lines up in a wide 9, an angled 9.
I was a step slider. I was not a kicker. All right,
Okay.
I had the boxing footwork, so I did not kick. All right.
Yeah. So a guy likes to get his leg extra wide. So when you look at the film, you see the guy that has like his stance like is extra elongated at tackle.
Yep.
That's a guy taking what we call a pre-kick.
Okay.
So you're predetermining where your first kick's going to land, but still staying within your original so that you move your inside leg and then you can slide the outside leg again.
See, no, that was verboten in my day. Go right ahead.
Yeah. Well, but guys have been doing that and they've been inching back because once you extend your body outside of the framework that you're supposed to be working in, because when you do drill work, all your drill work's your normal stance. You're kicking first, 60-40 relationship, and boom, 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 right? It's like, it's like typing on the typewriter. Da, 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 da. And guys are trying to do that because they don't trust themselves. Also, they have not seen a lot of pass rush in the preseason because guys don't play in the preseason, right?
Right.
So it's a lazy man's way of getting out there, or you get the guy that gets a super narrow stance and he toes his foot in the back.
Yeah, no.
That's the other stance. And this is one that Broderick was kind of playing with in the preseason, trying to see if that would help give him an edge by doing the pre-kick. And, you realize, no, that's not the right way. And listen, the only reason I can identify is because I did all these things too. It's a young tackle type of rite of passage that you're trying to figure out how to do it. But I have a longer torso. So when I got into it, I always made sure I broke the center's belt line.
Yeah.
And it was just something that you just always did. And, and the other problem with a pre-kick stance or that type of elongated stance, guess what you do as soon as you get out of your stance because you're so elongated?
You raise up.
You stand straight up.
Yep.
You stand up straight up. And then now that second kick, the one area where you don't want to be parallel with we call it the headlights, right? The two hip bones are the headlights. The headlights are pointed directly at the sideline after the second kick.
Can't do it. Oh, you're dead.
Can't do it.
You're dead.
Yeah, you lose your 45-degree angle. And you can't widen the guy out and get to the 5-yard point and then start to gradually bring your hips to the sideline. And so that's where you're seeing a lot more of that. And the NFL said, no, there's a point of emphasis. We need to give something back to the defense because you think about this. This is the first rule or really enforcement of a rule that benefits the defense because everything's so skewed to the offensive side, right?
Right.
A lot more rules against the defense than there are against the offense. And this, it seems like you're picking on it, but tackles have just gotten away with murder. And you look at Jawan Taylor's tape in the offseason. They went back and watched it. I mean, Jawan Taylor could pretty much tap Patrick Mahomes on the shoulder and tell him the play adjustment. That's how far back he was. Like he wasn't even on the center's butt cheek. You know what I'm saying?
And
like he was.
That's a big butt cheek of their center too.
Yeah. Creed Humphrey does not have small ham hocks.
No.
So it was funny how you go through this and you look at it, you analyze it, you realize, hey, this is exactly what it is. And I'm sitting there like, okay, I get why they're doing this because guys are just getting out of pocket. I mean, it's becoming egregious right now.
Here's the other part, Max. It creates a more sheer angle for an outside pass rusher if you're up on the line of scrimmage. And for guys that aren't quite as quick and you don't get back quite as quickly, right, as some others, that pass rusher can beat you to the spot while he's running the arc. It's just simple physics, except that was something I flunked too. But, the thing about it is, there's a point in time where you're going to intercept at some point of conflict along that arc running line with that guy. There is the we used to call it the point of conflict. You come together and boom, you're right there. You're ready to go. And you're within arm's length of each other. That's the point of conflict. So if you get there late and that guy's already up the field, you are in trouble already, so that's the other part of it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and you're right. This benefits, the defense more than the offense.
Yeah, it is beneficial.
Especially the speed to power rushers.
Yeah, the speed to power guys, I want you closer to the line of scrimmage. But here's the problem. That's where you're supposed to be anyways.
Yeah.
So just because it's gotten so egregious, that's why pass rushers feel like this is an advantage to them. But this is how you should have always been in the first place. Like if you have a problem with the tackle, with a guy on the edge, that's why you bring the tight end. That's why you bring a chip, right? These are the reasons why you do those things. And tackles, because offensive coordinators, right, you're trying to get more guys out in the route, trying to get more targets against zone. They're like, well, we can't dedicate this guy. This guy has a quick check to his guy and he's out. No longer do you see a big prevalence of 7-man protections, even though we've got a lot more 6-man protections that then turn into 7-man protections. But they're still trying to get their running backs out of the backfield, And you want to make sure those guys take enough time and you get enough edge on a guy to help your tackles out. But the prevailing theme is they want 5 guys out in a route every play, if they're going to run a pass play. And so you lose a little bit of that. And I think that's why with the Chargers and especially the Steelers, play action is so key, right? Because that tight end hangs for a second. That running back hangs for a second because you're selling run. You're trying to divert the eyes. You're trying to get somebody to step up so you can drop over. And that's where I feel like, in this game when we're looking at it, that's why this is such a big deal, because you're spreading everybody out. Back in our day, we didn't have this problem as much because, like you said, when you have a solid play action game built with a solid running game because it's cyclical, right? One feeds the other,
absolutely.
like an infinity symbol. People have lost sight.
Not only that, Max, it's endless.
That too, right? Infinite, endless. I mean, it's crazy how those words go together, right? It's weird. Yeah. They're synonyms. Yeah. But I think that's, and let me know if I'm wrong, Wolf. I mean, I think that's what it is, because we're so predicated on getting guys out and trying to get the ball downfield and trying to put up all these points. Pass protection suffers because of that.
Oh yeah. And I got to tell you, the fact that you only have limited practice times, limited pad times, everything that. Remember, in our day, you worked on your technique every single day. And you could, because you were working on live bodies. Now, they have substitutionary drills where you don't have live body contact and you do the things that you have to do to be able to replicate what you're going to face coming in the game. But at the same time, it's not the same thing. You know what I mean?
No.
And,
it's not.
Iron sharpens iron, and you got to keep the sword sharp. All those sayings, it's about as close to game speed replication of what you need to do on your skill set to handle your business. And when you can't do that, now everything is not quite as good. You know what I mean? It's not quite as preparatory, enabling you to do the things you need to do to keep your skill set like where you need it. That's the thing that's in my mind.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think, when you look at it, you have to say, okay, what are we doing here? We got to take it back to basics and understand where you're. But the problem is, they don't train technique as much as they used to in practices, right? Because you're limited on your opportunities.
Yeah.
So some of the guys that would need some of that cleanup stuff, you don't get that. Like a Broderick Jones is not getting pass setup drills. That's an off-season thing now,
right?
Versus in-season, and then you revert to what you know. You revert to what you've repped. And let's face it, in training camp, a lot of those reps are done on your own, right? You're doing it post-practice, because even in practice, it's all about combination drills. It's all about scheme. How are you looking at double teams? You're working on a lot more run game fundamentals than you are pass protection fundamentals. Like a coach doesn't really want to mess with a guy's set if he's not really a teacher, right? If he's not a technician coach, you're not going to work it. Like Mike Munchak. Yeah. Mike Munchak wants to work technique.
Yeah.
And he wants, Cougs, wanted to work technique. Larry Zerline wanted to work technique.
Right.
And then you have like Russ Grimm, Pat Meyer. It's more about philosophy, right? It's do you know what your job is? I don't care how, because Russ's famous words when I first got to Pittsburgh, I'll never forget this. He was like, listen, guys, I'm here to teach you what you need to know to go be your best. Your technique got you here in this league. My job is to keep you here in this league by knowing what to do and when to do it.
Right.
So that's kind of how the philosophy has changed, because like you said, if you want to spend time with the tackles, like, you're going to send Isaac over there to work with the tackles, right? And Isaac's still trying to get down the run, and then he's got tight ends that come over, work on tackle tight end stuff. You don't have time to really hone in on, hey, make sure that when you sit down in your stance, you screw your shoulders in, you have a good 60-40 relationship, you're kicking to balance,
right,
and working on a lot of these different little drills. And, my good buddy, LaCharles Bentley, Chuck created those type of implements or tools to help guys. But if you don't know how to use the tools, you're never going to use them, right? If you don't understand what the slide board is for, you don't know how to use that slide board out there on the grass. So therefore, you're not going to pick it up and use it on your own, even though it would be the best thing to help, a guy like Broderick get his pass angle and get the strength in the quads and also in those IT bands, right? Mm-hmm. And your adductors and abductors working, because I feel like, for all the training that we do, we don't pay as much attention to the abductors and adductors outside of doing the little machine where you do the clamshells, right?
Yeah.
But it's exactly. It's like it's funny.
Okay,
that's all you do.
Yeah, that's more hot dog ingredients that we don't need.
Yeah, that is. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to go put some mustard and ketchup on my hot dog as we step aside to break here. We'll be back with more inside the Steelers Audio Network.
Your home for the Steelers. This is the Pittsburgh Steelers Audio Network.
It's time for Hot Routes with Pittsburgh International Airport, a proud partner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Fly, don't drive to see the Steelers play in Philadelphia this season and enter to win a VIP Steelers experience at any away game. Just enter your flight confirmation code from Frontier Airlines' new Pittsburgh to Philadelphia nonstop flight and be eligible to win a VIP Steelers experience, including flight, hotel, and Steelers jerseys. Book now at flyfrontier.com and enter to win at steelers.com/hotroutes.
Shopping for a new or certified pre-owned car? Think South. South Hills Kia on Route 19 in Peters Township has your deal. Brand new 2024 Kia Telluride LX all-wheel drive as low as $299 for 24 months with $3,999 due at signing. 2024 Kia Sportage LX all-wheel drive for $161 a month for 24 months with $3,999 due at signing. Lease offers exclude taxes and fees. No security deposit required. 10,000 miles a year. Expire September 30th, 2024. Visit southhillskia.net for details.
Hey, football fans, BetMGM is giving you a shot to win season tickets to Pittsburgh Steelers home games for the next 10 years. Enter BetMGM's Decade of Black and Gold sweepstakes, and you can score 2 tickets and VIP hospitality tent passes for a decade. Opt in each week and bet on football to boost your chances. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 and over, Pennsylvania and West Virginia only. Visit www.1800gambler.net. Please gamble responsibly. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards subject to expiry.
It's Greg Wolfley from my friends at Clearview Federal Credit Union. The Clearview team is here to help you score your financial goals and support our community. Clearview is always upping their game for those in need. Through Touchdowns for Hope, these pros will donate $500 to the Light of Life Rescue Mission for every black and gold touchdown scored this season. Now that's what makes a real winning team. Visit clearviewfcu.org/touchdown to learn more and open an account today. That's clearviewfcu.org/touchdown.
At Northwest Bank, we're here for what's next. The next place to fill with love and laughter, with more mortgage options for first-time buyers. The next backyard patio party host, thanks to lines of credit with competitive rates. Even the next thing to check off your to-do list, with home equity loans that let you refinance high-interest debt. Our home lending solutions can help make your dream home a reality. Northwest Bank, for what's next. Visit northwest.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is In the Locker Room, presented by Ford and brought to you by Acrosure, the official insurance and cybersecurity partner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. By BetMGM, Huntington Bank, PNC, Pepsi, and by FedEx, where now meets next. Now here's Craig Wolfley and Max Starks.
All right, you know what time it is. Yes, the word of the day. And today's word of the day is de rigueur. All right? I don't know if I can get a little Francais with that, a little French type thing, but, it's required by etiquette.
On it.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I could have used that. But it's required by etiquette or current fashion. For instance, to be used in a word or in a sentence would be, in the 1970s, bell-bottoms and sequins were de rigueur for the disco. Unless, of course, you're a Wolfley, working for the weekend, then it's clogs, powder blue leisure suit, and those, what do you call the taco shirts? The
taco meat shirts, yeah, the deep V's.
The taco meat shirts.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, lover boy, working for the weekend. Oh, my heavens. Yeah. The things we do at 19, wouldn't want to admit what when you're 66 like me.
Yes. Yeah.
Nobody's
exactly.
listening, thankfully.
Yeah, no. I mean, listen, at a certain point, the hair color changes, the taco meat gets a little gray, and no more sauce on it. So, you want to cover it up a little bit. You need that's why they invented the little buttons on the polos, right? To cover it up. It gives you optional taco meatage. You can always unbutton it and get back to the V days of old.
It just doesn't work anymore, brother.
Yeah, the predetermined taco meat, shirts are definitely, a little bit out of style. That deep V polyester with the big lapel on it.
Well, the problem is you can go El Flambe if you got too close to a torch.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
know?
There's definitely, and then of course with all the product that was in the hair as well. I mean, the whole thing was going to light up like a burnt Q-tip. So you didn't want to go too close. It's like, hey man, hey, I know I'm smoking these squares, but ash away from the outfit, okay, bud?
It's a stunning display when you light one up.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you're on fire, literally.
All right. Oh my goodness! We got to close this hour down. We're coming back with more in the Power Hour with Max. We're already getting out of control.
Yeah.
All right, you listen to the Steelers Audio Network.
Steelers football happens here. The Pittsburgh Steelers Audio Network.
Dad, I'm broke.
Hey, broke, I'm Dad.
Dad.
Don't you have cash saved from babysitting?
No, I spent it. I want my own bank account from S&T Bank. They offer free ATMs, online and mobile banking, and an annual scholarship opportunity. See, I'm responsible.
Hey, responsible, I'm Dad.
Visit your local branch or stbank.com for details. Again, that's stbank.com. Member FDIC.
I'm Jamie Bordas. At Bordas & Bordas, we're a proud partner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Why? We understand and share many of the same Pittsburgh values: toughness, hard work, dedication. At the end of the day, the people who count on us care about one thing: results. That drives us, and it's why we win.
Bordas & Bordas, fighting for justice.
Just like coaches and players take a timeout to call the winning play, you must take a timeout and call 811 before you dig deep on your home or business projects. Building a deck? Call 811. Digging for a new pool or fence? Call 811. Stay safe and avoid costly mistakes. This important message is from Peoples Natural Gas, an essential utilities company. For more information, visit peoples-gas.com/safety.
Is in the locker room, presented by Ford and brought to you by Acrosure, the official insurance and cybersecurity partner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. By BetMGM, Huntington Bank, PNC, Pepsi, and by FedEx, where now meets next. Now here's Craig Wolfley and Max Starks.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-woo! That's right, it is hump day. But more importantly, we are well engaged inside the Power Hour of the show. That's right, hour number 2. And no Wednesday would be complete. No, I'm not talking about Mike the Camel and his illustrious monologue. But more so importantly, we're talking about the id, the genius, the brain, the commonality, the normalcy, and the musings of one Jim Wexell. Jim, how are we doing today?
Really good, boys. My genius had us. We're doing us. I shouldn't have said that. Had the club us 3-0. If you go back to my, I like to refer to that because that was my first instinct. It's called.
You know what? Yeah, we got to. Something's breaking up in the.
Something squirrely.
Yeah, we got.
Sounds like
gremlins.
Alvin and the Chipmunks for some reason.
I don't know why.
Hold
exactly.
on, Lex, let me call you back.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got to be able to do this while Wes is dialing up the dials, and we will get this worked out. But Max, one of the things certainly that I was thinking about was the fact that Mike Tomlin also referenced the fact that he's going to give Broderick Jones an opportunity to be able to play his way out of the funk that he was in the other day. And I think that's important, that you can't lose this kid. All right? You can't. We can't sit there and say, okay, you're a write-off for the rest of the season or anything like that. No way. You know, that young man's got a lot to contribute. He's got a lot that he's able to accomplish. And I know that right now, Fatanu, it looked very good off his first start there. No doubt about it. But you also got to realize that the guy that he was playing, Jonathan Cooper, was made to order for a guy like him, because he's a straight-line guy coming right at you. It's not like this guy was going to go up the field and do some dipsy-do and ghost moves and some of the under and up type things that they'll do when they're running the arc like that. You're going to have a little bit different work here with we got him back? Okay, we got Wex. Are you there, buddy?
I'm here, buddy.
Okay.
There
you
we
don't
go.
sound like Alvin the squirrel. You know what I mean? They're chipmunk.
Well,
I hope not.
You did. Wex, it sounded like you were huffing helium right before we put you on.
Yeah, it did.
It was really weird. I'm going, that's not Jim Wexel. You know? So we got you back and live, and you sound just fine now. Welcome to the locker room, my friend.
Well, I was bragging about my prediction. You know what the universe thinks of that.
Yeah. It was like, we're going to have to take him down a notch. He's getting way too Nostradamus-y.
Exactly so.
But welcome back to the locker room.
I wanted to start off today by reminding you guys, I asked you last week if Fautanu, since he was ready, might be eased in by rotation.
You
said, so. No, offensive linemen don't rotate. You don't rotate at that position.
No, I thought you'd work them tackle was what I thought they were going to do. A little tight end action. You know what I mean?
Yeah, extra tight end, just because he hadn't played, yeah.
I had asked Fautano about that. He said, no, I haven't worked any of that.
No.
And so anyway, you guys said, no, you don't rotate. And sure enough, they did, and it was a disaster. It was a debacle. So you guys, I wanted to say kudos to you. So expect you guys to start sounding like Alvin the Chipmunk.
Yeah. Hey, we have too many rantings and ravings.
Oh.
Well, you don't do that at that position, and now I saw why.
Well, it's difficult when you come in there, and there's something about when you line up from the first snap through all the snaps, you get a real sense of what that guy is trying to do, and what they're going to try to come at you with. For instance, when I got bumped out to tackle against Cleveland, and you got Clay Matthews, right? Didn't take long to realize that they're going to run three-man games to the other side from the left guard over to make it one-on-one, mano-a-mano with Clay Matthews on me, right? I mean, I'm the pigeon. The pigeon landed on me. He's coming after me. And it was one of those situations. And if you rotate, you don't get a chance to really kind of get it from the get-go. And trying to go in and do things when you didn't start out and experience all the different things that are happening out there on each drive, it's a difficult position to go. It's not like going in as a running back. It's a little bit different. For an offensive lineman, it's about the nitty-gritty.
And there has to be way more coordination together as well. And you've got to feel that similar energy. And so when you come in off the bench cold, right, it's tough to match that energy. And it takes a little bit to get into the flow of things. And as we saw with Broderick, right, he was trying to get in the flow of things. You get a holding call, you get an offsides penalty, and then you get a holding call that ends up, a big gangbusters play to George Pickens. And it's like, no, you can't have 3 penalties and 5 snaps or 6 snaps. And that's where it's tough. And that's the meaty part of switching out, especially when you had a nice little groove going in the first quarter. and then you're not subbing out Troy Fautano because of an injury, right? It's different when you have an injury to a guy and you go in because you know you're playing the rest of the game. He's going in thinking, well, I got a series, maybe 2 series. We don't know what that rotation was going to look like because it ended way before it could even really get started. And that's the bad part about it.
I liked Mike Tomlin's explanation.
Yeah.
I liked the fact that he was thinking about depth in the thin air and also Fautano's first game. He wondered about his conditioning. But I think still deep down what Mike didn't say that I think is down there is that he wanted to let Broderick know he still loves him.
Mm-hmm.
That this was not a Okorafor situation. He was not getting benched. Even Marcus Gilbert, when he got benched his second year after winning Rookie of the Year as a college left tackle who played right tackle in the pros, a very similar situation. I don't remember Mike Tomlin attempting to salve Marcus's feelings.
Right.
I think this was an attempt to let Broderick know, we're not giving up on you. We like you a lot. And perhaps maybe Mike knows that there's an injury that Broderick won't admit to, even though he still has that massive brace on his right elbow.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think there was some of that involved. And for the fan base, I think, is getting a little reactionary and saying that this is poor coaching, that Broderick should be just thrown at left tackle and made to develop, when from the looks of it all is that Broderick is a third man in this 3-man competition. He lost, but he's not being given up on.
No.
And there is no room for development. This is a coach has to make the tough decisions. So I kudos to Mike Tomlin for making the tough decision, sticking with Dan Moore, going with the rookie. But I didn't like, even though I suggested it to you guys last week, apparently you do not rotate tackles, and that was a bad move by the coach.
You know, it takes me back to one time that Chuck was using a little bit of the messenger guard system early on, and he sent in Steve Corson with a play at guard, and Steve came in, got in the huddle, and looked at Terry. Terry looked at him and said, all right, check with me at the line of scrimmage. They go up to the line of scrimmage around the 3-yard line, and he starts the thing, and he calls a toss 32 trap, which is a basic trap play. And Steve, playing right guard, gets up out of his stance. He turns to Terry, goes, "That's not the play, Terry." So that's why that got shelved real quick. Okay, but yeah, you know, rotating offensive linemen, as Max talked about earlier too, was the fact that it's very hard to insert guys that haven't played next to each other long enough, well enough, with enough time and so forth. So it can be a problem. But aside from that, though, Wex, what was your overall assessment of where we're at after 2 games, 2 wins, 2 road victories?
Well, it's a great situation, and you're looking at a quarterback that might be a gem off the scrap heap. I'm excited about this quarterback. I talk to other people; they're not so excited. But boy, I think you should be excited about Justin Fields because I'm not sure Russell Wilson's going to get his mobility back. That springtime mobility that we saw that we haven't seen since. I don't know if he'll get it back. And that that mobility really, without the mistakes, and with the beautiful throwing that Justin has put in so far, you have to love it. Now, I think he needs a better running game. I'd like to see a better running game. I think part of that is all the inexperience up front. But, boy, the talent that's up front. Fautano showing us some real talent, some Zach Frazier-like talent. We've now seen Zach do it for 2 weeks. And Anderson's done a good job, and we know Ciamalo is going to come in and more stabilize that line even more. I would just like to see a better running back. And I've said this before to you guys. I'm sure you guys disagree. I've been the only guy for 2 years saying this. So I expected more out of Najee this year since he lost the weight, but I want to see more Jalen Warren, and he took more snaps, 32 to 30. I want to see him get the ball more. People keep saying, well, he can't carry the load. Well, let's see. Let's actually see if he can carry the load or not. He's a better blocker. He's a better receiver. I think he's a better runner. I don't understand. So you guys can. I'll just have to leave that there because I know I'm mostly in the minority on that.
It's okay. This is what the locker room's about, babe. You know, you state your opinion.
Yeah, and I just think they need more playmakers on offense, and we see one in Pickens and we see one in Fields. I think Freiermuth runs great patterns and catches the ball. I want to see more speed. I want to see more speed at the number 2 receiver. So that's where I see it. That's where I see it. I mean, we all know the defense is fantastic and can carry them and can carry them further, can continue to carry them.
Yeah. I mean, I think again, you know, it's a newer system with Arthur Smith, and I think you know there is merit to it. But I think what Najee does and what he brings with the physicality aspect is that he can wear down a defense. I think Najee's going to have kind of like that Derrick Henry type of effect, where he gets stronger as the game goes on, and those bigger plays. Early on, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be the 2, the 3, and the 4-yard gains. But then he will burst out, and he will have that 15, 20-yarder, 19 yards that will then start to compile. But I think, you know, the penalties kind of just kills a lot of that momentum. And I think that's why they have the referees down there this week, Wex, because, you know, penalties have wiped away a lot of good plays. And you think about the Pickens play, you think about the 3rd down conversion to Jalen and some of the runs for Najee. Like, those things kind of get wiped away from that. And, you know, I love the fact that we utilized Darnell Washington in the red zone this week because he's an outlier. I mean, he is so big and so tall. It's like, how do you not use that guy more often? But we also haven't been in the red zone as much to even think about that concept. And then when we did get down there, you know, by the play of our tight ends, we capitalized on it. So I think, you know, they're still figuring it out because, you know, you only got so much time that you spent in the preseason together with this system. And it's a stark difference in philosophy from what a lot of these guys are used to for the last 3 years. And so trying to get everybody on the same page and get the full buy-in, I think, is just taking time for that to gel. And then you're still swapping pieces while you're still trying to get guys to buy in, right? You know, we started the season with 2 new starters on the offensive line, and then now we've grown to 3 new starters on the offensive line as we're trying to figure out who the top 5 is. You lose Siamalu, which you weren't anticipating that happening, you know, but it's only for a short while. So I think there's a lot of factors that go into that. I think the best of Najee is still yet to come, and I would just caution about giving up on him. I know Jalen's doing well in the role right now, but I still believe Najee is an RB1 and is one that's he's going to punish guys, especially with what Arthur Smith wants to do with the 2 and the 3 tight end sets. He wants to be physical at the point, and Najee brings a physical bang between the tackles approach, whereas Jalen, you know, will run between the tackles, but he's looking to get to the outside. You know, it's almost like a difference between Jerome Bettis and Willie Parker, right? Towards the end of Jerome's career, you want to have that kind of 1-2 punch where you have, you know, thunder and lightning, so to speak, and you're hitting teams in waves and you're giving them different approaches. But I think it's also, you know, it's about, you know, I call it build a offense, you know, based on the concept of Build-A-Bear. You know, you can pick whatever skin you want, you know, and you can pick whatever stuffing you want to go in there, whether you want a heart, you want a bell, you want a voice recorder. Like, I feel like that's what we have with the variety of player types and body types, that we can scheme a game plan to go up against a defense, what they're strong at, and take advantage of what they're weak at, and utilize all those guys because they're so different. You know, you think about our running back backfield, there are 2 different types of running back that are back there. Tight end, we got 3 different body types for tight end. Right receiver, we got a bunch of different body types for that, but it's getting that offensive line and quarterback settled to where they can utilize those different groups.
Yeah, that's a lot, Max.
Yeah, it is.
I personally would rather see Zach Frazier and Troy Fautano and Darnell Washington punish the defense, and they get the defense tired of chasing guys. Like, get Calvin Austin involved more. Get Scotty Miller involved more. And of course, Jalen. More speed, chase those guys. Justin Fields, chase him. I really like what Arthur Smith is doing. He's a man with a plan, and he even admitted to not throwing over the middle in the first week. He just throwing to Darnell Washington this week. He sees things, he acts on them. And last year, it seemed like there was more stubbornness. More, this is how I do things. I don't care what kind of body types we have. Arthur's like, let's try. I can't wait to try this guy in the red zone. Sure enough, it worked.
That was important,
Yeah,
a
it's
little back
exciting.
shoulder like that. That was good.
Yeah, that was a good throw. It looked simple, but it was a good throw, and it's exciting seeing what Justin Fields is doing.
What do you like about him? You go a little deeper into him, because I know you've been watching him.
Well, personally, I can speak personally better than I can the X's and O's. He's like no other quarterback I've covered. Quarterbacks, I don't know if you've noticed this about quarterbacks, but they've been pampered ever since junior high.
Yes.
For the most part.
Yes. Right. Hitting the nail on the head, brother, but continue.
And even the best of them, Mason Rudolph, Russell Wilson.
Terry Bradshaw.
I don't. Yeah, the ego is there. It's controlled. Clearly, Russell is a great dude and has controlled his ego. I walk up to Justin Fields and ask him if he has a minute. It's like I'm walking up to the backup safety. He's very
he's humble.
It's not just humble. Mason Rudolph, just to speak, and Russell, they're humble, but they are reining it in intentionally. It's like Justin doesn't even think about reining it in because there's nothing there. It's just like Troy Polamalu explaining to me why Heath Miller is more humble than Troy himself. We all know how humble Troy is, but it's Troy trying to explain humility is Heath's essence. It's not. Troy says I have to think about being humble. He goes, oh, you don't really want to know what my thoughts are. They're not as pure as you think. I have to work on being humble. Heath does not. And that's how, and it's so rare. And Heath was a quarterback, too, in high school. But it's so rare. And I am not knocking Russell or any of the guys that going back to Neil O'Donnell. It was the first quarterback I covered, first NFL quarterback. A lot of humility there. But, again, this is different. This is actually, I felt like I was talking to Jalen Elliott, the practice squad safety.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't know. He might not be on the practice squad, but he was last year. Is he still on the 53? I can't keep track of some of it. I know.
Yeah, he was on last week.
But very humble guy, and a reporter's coming up to me. That's a little surprising, and that's how Justin made me feel. And now he's got the mobs right now, but he's still in those mobs. He's very, and I think Mike Tomlin is trying to get that point across as he's getting to know Justin, the way he talks about him in the press conferences, how getting to know him on the field and on the sideline. A little different. Everything's a little different because he's a different type. So humble, and it's very nice to see. Whether that answers your question about go into deep analysis on him as a quarterback, I'm not sure, but
it's interesting though. I like your perspective because it's just a different perspective from myself, and I agree with you on the same things, the same elements. There's a couple things that kind of I'm looking at them and I'm going. The throws, every now and then, he throws a couple at the feet, over behind guys. And then he makes that terrific throw down the sidelines, which was brought back on a penalty. But, the capabilities of his attributes are huge. And one of the things that they really got me was when they shot, they came with 6 rushers against 5 men, and he outran Jonathan Cooper, who was a free runner. And remember when he ran around the left side when Cooper came on a blitz? Somebody missed the blitz pickup. Yep. Somebody missed the hot read, whatever. And I was like going, Wow, that's great. He can outrun just the blitzer.
That was unbelievable. I don't know that anybody missed him. Fautano said, I got to get this guy inside. Don't you take the guy closest to the quarterback?
No, but what I'm talking about is the wide receiver who should have gone on a hot read to the area vacated by Cooper.
Okay.
You've got to turn around and get your head around and look and see the quarterback. Or the quarterback didn't read it right. And no, Fautano was fine. But I'm talking about it's a free runner, unaccounted for, and he just outran the dude, who was a pretty fast guy.
And I again don't want to demean Russell Wilson because I'm excited to see him get his mobility back.
Sure.
But he takes a sack there. That's a -5 instead of a +20.
There's truth in that, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Go ahead, Max. I know I've been talking here, so.
No, it's all good. Like I said, this is the locker room. There's no, this isn't a formal interview where you get your question, I get my question. This is a conversation, and I think, as we kind of look at it, Wex, I think, there's a certain level of synergy that has to happen, right? And offensive line is a unique one because you can plug a play, you can throw a receiver in, pretty much off the street, right? And you can kind of coach him on his route tree. A running back, you can kind of insert a guy and say, hey, you know how to read holes. Here's what the concept basically is. But for an